guess it's not going to stream on LinkedIn. Apparently.
I'll just share the link then. Oh, no, I guess I can't because it's not a YouTube link. Oh, yeah, you have YouTube.
That did work? Mm-hmm. Can you guys hear me? Tell me in the comments if you can hear me or not. Check, check. Look. Can you guys hear me? Tell me in the comments if you can hear me or not.
Ding-a-ling. You gotta figure that out, man.
I don't get it.
I feel like that's such a simple thing to figure out, too. What was the... Nobody on because everyone's on the...
Oh, Shell is fresh off her Facebook jail.
Okay, well, we're in YouTube jail.
We're in YouTube jail right now, and we're looking at some hard time, Shell. Hard time. Jason Walker, glad you're
Oh my gosh,
safe,
you
buddy.
have internet?
You scared the crap out of us.
We legit thought you guys were, like, washed away.
Yeah, because we couldn't get a hold of you.
Yeah, and the kids were, like, praying for you, and they, like, kept saying, we're so scared for the family. Yeah, that was pretty scary.
Me, I just wanted your guns.
Ryan, you asshole.
I'm just joking.
Okay, yeah, you are on LinkedIn there, buddy.
Okay, cool.
So look at that. So yeah, we're on LinkedIn and Facebook tonight because we got banned off the YouTube. In case you didn't see, we threw up another YouTube channel called Tampa Carry Off the Range that we were gonna do something with the other day and haven't really got around to it. So I told Ryan we'll just use that for Facebook, or for YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can watch us on YouTube under that link. Did you put it?
It's in the email.
It's in the email. I'll put it in the chat too, in case anybody. Some people are real hardcore YouTubers, you know. Here, I'll send it to you, Ryan. You can paste that. They can follow along on YouTube if you prefer YouTube. I think it's the chat maybe on YouTube that's better than it is on Facebook. So if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can click on that link. But I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna have less people.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.
What is up, sheepdogs? Ryan G, the living legend, Tiffany the pickle. We are putting that on my tombstone.
You get the living legend, and I get the pickle.
We get to choose who we are, Tiffany. Today I am cool backwards hat guy.
Yeah, why do you have your hat backwards?
Because I'm still trying to figure out the lighting now that we move stuff, and it's like too dark. Like,
yeah, no, I like it.
I know. So it's just, maybe it's not that bad, but I do look cooler.
You do look,
Cooler. Apparently it turns women on
I feel like
more.
I'm with a different man.
Yeah? Okay. Cool guy, Steve.
Little excitement.
What's up, Michelle? What's up, Lisa? Jason, you're alive.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Crazy. That hurricane was nuts, man.
Yeah. So I guess, were we live last week?
Last Monday,
yeah. Okay,
because the hurricane didn't hit till Wednesday.
Right. So I don't know, where all you are at, but I was very surprised because we were, we're in Valrico. I didn't really think that we were going to get much of the storm bands once we knew where it was hitting, right? Fort Myers, Naples area. But we still got some strong winds. But they were nothing like Hurricane Charlie back in the day. You remember that? Right. Yeah, I know. But I was thinking like we were going to get some Irma winds where we didn't really notice anything, a few things. But we went outside and we have a brand new neighborhood and there is trees down in our neighborhood.
Which I was really surprised by.
So, the winds were definitely enough over here.
Surrounding us. Like, there's a lot of mature oak trees around our neighborhood.
On the power lines, like a whole road. There's 3 ways into our neighborhood, and 2 ways were blocked off that we could not get out. So, thank goodness for the 3rd way, or else I would not have been able to load up my Keurig coffee machine, take it to the Brandon office, make a cup of coffee.
This is a true story.
Yeah. I woke up and I was like, no power. Oh my gosh. Coffee. So I drove around. I was like, Lincoln, let's go. 8 o'clock in the morning to go find coffee. Of course, nothing is open. Everything's without power.
Yeah, because there's a hurricane, Tiffany.
Half of the street lights are out, but I'm like, I need coffee, right? So I'm like, I had this like bright idea. I said, let's drive by the Brandon office and see if we've got power. So we drive by and Lincoln's looking in all the things and he's like, yeah, I see a light on in this building. So we're like, yes. So I drove all the way back home. I got my coffee machine. I bring it to the Brandon office. I made Ryan and I each a cup of coffee and then I drove back. So this whole episode took 2 hours of my day.
Told her, she said what are we going to do about coffee?
Wait. And then you know what happens? 15 minutes later. Hi, Tiffany. Do you guys drink coffee? I'm like, yes, we do. Oh, the neighbor over there has a generator, so I thought I'd bring you 2 cups of coffee. I'm like, thank you. If I had just waited.
Patience is a virtue, my young something.
I know, Lisa is down in Port Charlotte. Is that what it's called? Port Charlotte. So how is everybody doing?
How'd you guys do? How'd you survive? Did anybody have to eat neighborhood cats to make it through the last week? Or did you have to cut a hole in a cow for warmth, climb inside the belly like they did in Star Wars?
I think you're exact. But most of us, right? Most of us have been in Florida for quite a while, so we kind of have a little stockpile of batteries and hurricane stuff. Some of that canned food that's 5 years expired, but you're if I have to eat it, I will. So most of us, I think, are kind of prepared, and we don't have to run out and get stuff.
Well, that's why when they said the hurricane was coming, the people that were at stores buying stuff, those are the newbies that just moved from New York and New Jersey.
And they got
us here. We're
real wake up call.
I got stuff. We're good.
Real wake up call, right?
Okay.
So anyway, sorry.
Okay. We want to make sure there's a very real possibility that we are going to get permanently banned from YouTube.
What the heck?
Very real possibility.
Why?
And what's hilarious about this is, I don't know if somebody's just targeting us being a jerk or something, or if this is a real issue. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
The video that we shared that got us banned is still on YouTube. And it's on lots of different channels.
And it's on the news.
It's on the news, on lots of news stations.
We're just sharing the news.
And we're promoting avoid these kind of people. But apparently YouTube wanted to strike us, and there's a very real possibility we might be permanently banned. So if you enjoy what we do, if you enjoy our content, enjoy our stuff, go to win.tampcarry.com. Put in your email address. Make sure that we have your contact information Because once YouTube goes down, it's going to be hard to get it back up.
But we'll figure something out. We'll, get our own platform. We'll do something, but we need a way to contact you and let you know, hey, tonight, besides our email list, we have no way to let anybody on YouTube know that, hey, we're here, but we're banned. So we're going to live stream on this other platform tonight because we can't do a post on YouTube. We can't do anything. We can't post a little thing in the community saying, hey, we're banned. We can't do anything to let anybody know. So they just think we're ghosted. They'll probably think we died in the hurricane. Oh my gosh, we're alive. They probably thought that. That's what they're thinking right now. There's going to be a visual.
Okay. Well, I need to sell one last product before we go. All right. Before I die, people, I got one more course I got to tell you about.
Yeah.
All right. So, really crazy story. This is a man. Tiffany, put your phone down.
No, I'm trying to share it to the group.
Okay. Share it and then get back. I need you focused.
Okay, Ryan.
This is a guy who walked into a convenience store here in Florida with a rifle. Not open carried, so he can't even pretend, he's going fishing.
Wow. This
guy just walks into the convenience store with the rifle in his hand, but the reason why he did it is what really shocked me. So let's take a listen.
I don't mean no harm. I'm just not from around here. What you got in your hand, bro? I got a big ass motherfucking gun. But I'm not from around here is what I'm saying. I'm from Chicago, bro. And I don't know niggas around here outside. So you gotta bring it in. I see your shit though. What's that? Put it back. Yeah. Put it back. Alright, I'm gone. Put it back.
So this guy just walks into a convenience store with a rifle, but then the employee saw him on the camera, which I think was very smart.
Yeah.
Saw him, he ran to the back room, right? And then the employee is like, or this bad guy is like, hey, bro, I see you back there. I'm not a threat to you. Bro, you're holding a rifle.
Yeah.
But then, Tiff and I can't hear it, but do you know what the guy said?
No, because I can't hear it.
He said, I'm not from around here, bro. And the employee at the gas station's like, so what? What does that matter? And the guy's like, I don't know anybody around here. I'm from Chicago. So is this like how they roll in Chicago? Is this like normal behavior in Chicago?
I mean, it might be.
Okay, so let's ask ourselves the big questions here, but we're going to ask this from the point of view of the employee that's in the store, maybe even a customer in the store. I want you guys to imagine that you're in this convenience store shopping, maybe with your kids, your wife, and this guy walked in. So, Tiff, how could this situation have been avoided?
I mean, you really can't avoid it unless you can see him. I mean, you can't. You're stuck in the store. There's nothing you can do.
You got to talk louder.
There's nothing you can do. I mean, you're stuck in the store. So, I mean, unless you're going to go out the back.
Yeah, run out of emergency exit.
If you're in there with your kids or whatever, you're not going to notice it. So, I mean, you really can't avoid a situation like that.
Okay, even the employee, do you feel like the employee couldn't have avoided it?
Well, they could have went in the back.
He kind of went into the back, but it sounds like he must have peeked his head around a corner or something because the bad guy saw it.
Right, okay, yeah. So, I mean, he did what he could do.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not a whole lot you can do.
All right, so question number 2. Does this situation fall under the justified use of force statute? So this is the justified use of force statute. A person is justified in using or threatening to use deadly force if he or she reasonably believes that using or threatening to use such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself, herself, or another, or to prevent the imminent commission of a forcible felony. A person who uses or threatens to use deadly force in accordance with this subsection does not have a duty to retreat and has the right to stand his or her ground if the person using or threatening to use deadly force is not engaged in criminal activity and is in a place where he or she has a right to be.
Yeah.
So when we break this statute down, it's actually asking us, there's 5 different things that have to happen before we have a legal right to use a firearm in self-defense in Florida. So number 1 is, do you have a reasonable belief?
100%.
Take it away, Tiff.
100%. I have a reasonable belief. The firearm is already out.
Yep.
And there was somebody in the, there was this big debate. If you remember when the stepfather, or no, the landscaper, that the guy with the rifle
in Clearwater, right?
In Clearwater, and they're like, oh, well, he's open carrying on his
So
property.
explain the whole story, though.
So the landscaper was parked over kind of the guy's driveway. He came out with a rifle, same thing, pointed down like that, screaming and yelling at the guy to move his effing truck, blah, 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 blah. And there were a lot of people saying, well, he's on his property. He's just open carrying, and that's how you hold a rifle. That was their, justification that he didn't do anything wrong. But I seeing somebody holding a rifle in their hand ready to use, I have a reasonable belief that you, in 2 seconds, could rise up that rifle and pop me in the head.
Yeah, because it's 2 different things. So open carry means that the firearm is openly displayed to the world. You can visibly look at it and see that there's a gun. But the firearm is not in your hand. It's actually like on a sling or in a holster on your waistband, something of that nature. But when the gun is in your hand, that is called in hand, ready to use.
Yes.
And that is a threatening act.
Regardless of where the firearm is pointed, because they kept on arguing to the point of, he has the firearm pointed downward. That's how you hold the gun. He's not doing anything wrong. Meanwhile, he's a raving freaking lunatic screaming.
Okay.
So, yes, reasonable belief.
Question number 2. Are you or someone around you going to die within seconds?
I think that, yes, you could absolutely prove that because it only takes seconds to lift that rifle and shoot.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would think that if I was that employee in that store and I saw this guy walking in through the camera and he's got a rifle in his hand, my gun would have been out and it would have been oriented at the door. And as soon as that guy walked in, I would have opened fire.
Now, what if you were in that store with your family, he's pointing towards the clerk, and you're behind him looking at stuff, chips and stuff with your family behind?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What are you allowed to do? Are you allowed to shoot?
This whole concept, I hear from people all the time. They say, you can't shoot a bad guy in the back. It's just not accurate. We have to have these 5 requirements, right? Which we've gone through 1.5 of them now, but you have to have all 5. If you have all 5 requirements, it doesn't matter if I'm shooting the bad guy in the front, shooting him in the back, shooting him in the wiener. It just doesn't matter.
Why in the wiener? So it's...
Because I'm trying to ruin their life, not just hurt them.
You can't shoot someone that is trying to get away and flee from you. That's different.
So the scenario I like to use is if somebody comes up and stabs you, and then they turn around and they're running away. You do not have a right to shoot that person, in my opinion, because the moment is over, right? They're no longer a threat to you. They're no longer a threat to anybody else. But let's say a bad guy comes up and stabs Tiffany, and then he's running towards Lincoln, right? And he's charging Lincoln, who's in my front yard. Do I have a right? Is it reasonable for me to believe this guy's about to kill my son or stab my son as he's charging towards him? I think the answer is yes, and I'm going to...
Even if it's in the back, yes.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
It's situational, yeah.
Okay, so next, are you or somebody around you going to become the victims of great bodily harm? Yep. So great bodily harm does not have a statutory definition, but it is a generally agreed upon practice that it is something more than a minor bruise.
Yes.
So this is cutting off a limb, breaking a bone,
broken bone,
permanent brain damage, a very large cut or wound, something of that nature. Yep. Next, are you or somebody around you going to be the victims of a forcible felony?
Yes.
Why? Which forcible felony?
Death.
Okay, so it could be murder, which is a forcible felony.
Because he has the weapon to do it, right?
Could be aggravated assault.
Yes.
Could be aggravated battery. Could be robbery. Could be a lot of different things. So I definitely think that answer is yes. Okay, is the use of deadly force immediately necessary? Is that guy in the store, is it immediately necessary for him to pull out a gun and shoot?
This is hard for me because I don't like the immediately necessary, but the thing is you can't wait till he raises the firearm.
Yeah.
You're already a threat. So you've already checked all the boxes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
It is immediately necessary.
I know.
If you have a gun.
It's hard for this empathetic person, right? I'm just like, well, he said he's new in town. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, nobody cares, bro. This isn't Chirac. You don't need to walk around with rifles here.
I know. It's hard.
Yeah. No. I believe personally that it is immediately necessary, and I am going to do whatever the hell I have to do to stop you.
So what happens? Does he leave?
Hold on, we're not done yet. Don't jump ahead.
Okay. Sorry, Ryan.
Okay, so are you in a place that you have a right to be?
I am allowed to be in a convenience store.
Yes, the employee has a legal right to be there.
Yeah.
The customers have a legal right to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one, I guess, oh man, I must not have put it up here. Are you committing a crime? This is the final requirement when we're talking about the justified use of deadly force.
You can't be committing a crime.
Yeah, so if you're like a cocaine dealer, you got a kilo of cocaine in your cargo pocket or something, then, you know.
And you're doing a deal in the convenience store.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, you're not. The justified use of force statute does not apply to you.
Doesn't work for you, yeah.
Okay, so now, we don't want to use our firearm unless we absolutely have to. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
But there's this thing that I like to call, in my books, the line in the sand. Mm-hmm. And that is the point at which we have no other option but to pull out our gun and shoot.
Right.
So like a line in the sand, let's say a scenario with this employee there, right? If he doesn't want to me personally, my gun would be oriented at the door. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the guy walked in and I saw the gun, I'm going to put 5 rounds downrange and it's going to be game over, right? If that guy was not willing to do that, maybe he took up a strategic position like in the back room, right? Behind some cover, some concealment, whatever's back there. And if the guy like raised the gun up, then you could wait until a strategic moment and open fire. Like, where's the line in the sand for you, Tiff? Let's say you and the kids are in the store. Where's the point at which you have no other option but to shoot?
Honestly, I think just seeing him come in with a firearm, because there's no reason for you to come in with a gun like that at your side. There's no reason for it other than you are there to hurt and kill someone. Yeah. So for me...
Or you're stupid, which is the case in this guy's story.
So for me, the line in the sand is you just walked in with and it's not like... It would be, not that this would really matter, but if he was like from an open carry state or something like that...
But then it would be open carry. Like when it's in your hand...
I'm trying to justify for this guy.
Yeah, so Dan says, if I'm with my kids, he's done.
Yeah.
But Dan, like, you love your kids, right? Yeah. Even if your kids aren't there, we want to make sure that you make it home to your kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just takes, he's already got the upper hand because he's already got the firearm out.
Okay, so what would you do? I think we kind of answered that already, right?
Yeah.
This is a scary situation. This is something you guys gotta, it's something you have to really think about. When I was at the range today with some of my students shooting, one of the students, he actually moved from Canada, which is funny because he said everything's just getting too crazy, moved down here. He's an American citizen, lived in Canada, so that's why I respect him.
Wow, Ryan. I'm not even an American citizen.
I know,
yet,
I'm just teasing.
And you don't respect.
But he said one of the favorite things that he loves in this book, Florida Concealed Carry Shoot or Don't Shoot, is this concept where we talk about the what would I do if game. Yeah. And he said he's been sharing it with his wife, trying to get his wife, because I said to him,
think about
women are very empathetic.
We are.
Women want to see the better side of people, right?
We do.
Whereas me, I'm not empathetic. I don't care. Yeah. And I kind of see the bad in people a lot of times, right? Yeah. So we kind of, I don't think I'm right, and I don't think Tiff's right. I think we got to have it in the middle.
It's a happy medium.
Yeah. But what's awesome about this book is that it gives you guys a lot of amazing situations where you can start seeing my students were involved in real life, very violent situations. What they did right, what they did wrong, so you can kind of learn. So if you want to take advantage of that, go visit FloridaShootOrDon'tShoot.com.
Get that book.
Yeah, get that book. It's absolutely amazing.
And you got a whole bunch of free goodies that come with that, too.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth it.
All right, so Megan says, should I have more than one gun for home defense? I don't carry. I am worried that if I get caught in the laundry room and my gun on the other side of the house in a safe.
Why are we always in the laundry room?
That's where women belong, Tiff. That's where women belong.
Yeah, blah, blah.
Okay. So, Yeah, I kind of agree, Megan. If that's a concern of yours, then you should probably install some type of gun safe. Like, this is my favorite gun safe. It's made by Gun Vault.
You love it, and you've loved it for years, and you still love it.
Because it's super simple.
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive. You can buy this for $150, $120.
$100.
Yeah, so it's a great value. It works. It's awesome.
So this gun safe, it's not biometric or anything like that, but it's
because you don't want. They actually sell the biometric version, but you do not want that.
I know you do not want that. But this one, simple beep beep beep. It automatically pops open. Right, the gun, if you can see, it's in a ready to grab. It's not laying down or where you can
easy to grab.
It's easy to grab. It also has a light that pops on when it pops open.
So if it's dark, you can see it.
Dark, you can see. And of course, it has the key lock access too. But it really is a great gun safe. And it's nice and thin. So we don't have it at this new house, but at the old house, we actually had one right beside our front door as well. So, and in the bedroom. And so you can, kind of put one in a few different spots.
What's cool about this safe is I have only found one firearm that does not fit in this gun safe. Do you know what that one gun was?
Well, there's your 1911, or there's a 1911 in that one.
Yes, so on 1911. The FNX 45 pistol does not fit in this.
With the threaded barrel, probably that.
No, just the regular without the tactical. Yeah, it does not fit in this gun safe.
And that's a 5-inch barrel?
Yeah, but it's just the size of the distance between the top sight and the mag is what doesn't fit.
Okay.
So anyway, my point is every other gun is going to fit with a tactical light. Like, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Other option is, this is one of my favorite shotgun mounts. It's made by Hornady, and it's called the Rapid Shotgun Mount.
Yeah.
This is super cool. This is what we have in our bedroom. Absolutely amazing. This is more expensive. I think we paid like $250 roughly.
Yeah, but I think you can buy them on like eBay and stuff. I mean, you can find a deal, but
yeah, probably made in China and probably doesn't work properly.
It's a little expensive, but it's really cool. It holds the trigger guard is not open.
Yeah, so the way that you can actually put it in however you want. So the way that I install mine is so that the trigger is completely covered.
Right, yeah.
So what's interesting about it is the kids can come up and actually touch it, even though they know they're not allowed to. Yeah. But they can't actually get access to it. They can't load it. They can't press the trigger. All that stuff.
But it can just sit in there loaded, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So this is a interesting incident that happened in Auburn. I don't think this is Florida. Auburn must be Texas.
No, it was, Texas, I think.
Okay. So let's play the video and then we'll talk about it.
Pretty startling images here. A doorbell camera capturing the moments right after two men were shot. This happened in Auburn yesterday about 2:30 in a neighborhood on 22nd Way Northeast. Auburn PD says an argument turned into a shooting there, sending both men to the hospital. A married couple who live in the neighborhood were at home when bullets hit their place.
I heard it physically hit our apartment. We immediately just stood up and walked into the hallway area because we were scared that more bullets were going to start flying through.
So luckily neither of them were hit by gunfire. Police were able to arrest the man who allegedly shot the two men. And officials telling Fox 13 that both men are in stable condition at the hospital this morning.
Now, could you imagine being the family? So there's a neighboring family.
Yeah.
They're in their apartment.
Yeah.
And bullets are just flying in, 7 rounds.
You don't know. You don't know when another one's going to come. Like, where do you hide? Where do you go?
Now, what's shocking is I have a lot of students that are involved in drive-bys. I told you about the student that just got shot, right? One of our students just got shot.
Oh, you did.
But so the bullet came in through the back here and it came out the front. It didn't hit any bone, which is this young man, like he was probably 22 or something. He was very lucky. So he was leaving an apartment in East Tampa. So that's problem number one. A car pulled up and he just looked at the guys and it was like no big deal. But the guys pulled up, parked, and then they just opened fire on him.
Oh my gosh.
So, East Tampa really is a war zone.
Yeah.
Every single student that we've had that's been a victim of a drive-by or a death, we have a lot of students that have family members that die in East Tampa.
East Tampa or like Nebraska, like North Nebraska.
South St. Pete.
Oh,
South St. Pete and Nebraska and East Tampa. That's where like it all happens. So the bottom line is avoid those two areas because that's where all the dangerous crap is happening. Yeah. So like my question is, if you're inside of your apartment, your house, bullets just start flying in, what do?
I don't know. Honestly, because are you like, what are you going to do? Walk outside with your gun and like blast somebody?
I literally got into an argument with a student, which is not something that I want to do, but sometimes it happens. Yeah. Because I have to.
And then he comes home, he's like, Tiff, we might get a bad review.
Yeah, like this is coming. This might happen.
He's like, I got into an argument.
The reason that I have to is I have to shut down this stupidity, okay? I can't allow, like, you know, I've got 10 or 15 people in the room.
You don't want them to be influenced.
And I got this one person influencing and saying all this really dangerous stuff. Yeah. I can't let them influence other people and get them killed, get them in prison, whatever. But here's what happened. We had a student in South St. Pete that their home was a victim of a drive-by. And I asked the group, she said, she's here now to get a carry permit. So I said, ma'am, what would you do if we went back in time? You've got your gun, you've got your carry permit. This car pulled up, they opened fire on your house. What would you do? And she goes, I would probably just lay on the floor of the house. And which is what she did in the real story. Oh. And I said, I agree. Because just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're going to run outside and get into this gunfight.
Right.
And this lady was like, hell no. She's like, I'm going out there and I'm going to shoot. And I was like,
you're probably going to get shot dead in your
I was like, ma'am, what's your experience shooting a gun? And she's like, I ain't never shot a gun before. And I'm like, okay, so what makes you think you can just run into gunfire outside and get in a gunfight and survive? Right. And it was like a 10-minute argument. Yeah. Right? But hopefully I've helped this lady and we're going to save her life, right? To make sure she understands just because you have a gun does not mean you're going to survive. Yeah. Just because you've watched a movie and watched people shoot doesn't mean you know how to do that.
Plus, look at these people that are shooting now and their bullets are going into somebody else's house, potentially almost killing someone else. Like, you guys are, you know, think you're whatever, but once you kill a kid or something and then you're in prison for the rest of your life, so you really going to go outside and start spraying bullets and risk killing an innocent person in one of the other houses and spending the rest of your life in jail?
One of our former employees, his name is Austin. Austin, in Iraq, he killed a 5-year-old kid. And it was one of the most traumatic things to him. He really suffered and struggled from it. But he was in a firefight, and he said, literally, Ryan, like 3 feet in front of me, I'm like shooting at this dude who's on top of a building. We're in this big gunfight. He said this kid just Supermaned out of this window, just dove out. And he said, I didn't know what it was. So I just went pop, 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 and shot as it was falling to the ground. Yeah. And then realized, you know, this is a 5-year-old child trying to flee from danger. But that was like a extremely traumatic thing that he now has to live with for the rest of his life. So now, could you imagine accidentally hurting or killing a young child, an innocent mother, an innocent man, father, because your bullet went into somebody's house? Yeah. Like, that's a pretty crappy thing to live with.
Yeah, and we've seen a few videos on here that we've shared where people just recklessly pull out their firearm and they don't even think that you are responsible for where your bullets land. So, you know, of course, if you have to use your gun, like you are, you know, imminent death, you have to use it and pull it out, you know, in a busy area or whatever it is, then, you know, hopefully you're trained to do so. But for these people that are just like, oh, I'm just going to, you know, try to do this to avoid something or whatever it is, it's just stupidity.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, so Joseph has a question. He says, can I carry my gun when I go to visit my grandmother in a long-term care facility? Oh. They have a sign on the door that says no weapons allowed. Okay. All right, Joseph. So number one, the signs that are on a door, like you'll see them at Bank of America, you'll see them at lots of different businesses. Yeah. They are non-enforceable in Florida unless that place is on the list of 15 prohibited places. So, Joseph, you're probably wondering, what are the 15 prohibited places? Well, I'm going to tell you. Number one is any place of nuisance. So a place of nuisance is a place where gang members are actively participating in illegal activity or a massage parlor that is actively engaged in illicit activity. So just avoid going to any of the massage parlors in South Tampa. Number two is any police, sheriff, or highway patrol station. Number three, any detention facility, prison, or jail. 4 is any courthouse. 5 is any courtroom. 6 is any polling place. 7, any meeting of a governing body of a county, public school district, municipality, or a special district. Next, any meeting of the legislator or a committee thereof, which sucks because I really enjoyed one of those meetings.
Sounds really boring to me.
Yeah. Any school, college, or professional athletic event that is not related to firearms.
Okay.
That's an easy one to screw up on.
Yeah.
I hear this a lot.
Yep.
Be very careful. So next, any elementary or secondary school facility or administrative building.
Yep.
Next is any career center. So that could be ITT Tech, Everest.
Yeah.
There's a place next to us that's like a nursing school or something like that. Could be a career center.
That's a career center, yeah.
Number 12, any portion of establishment licensed to dispense alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises, which portion of the establishment is primarily devoted to such purpose. So this could be a, what is it called? Like Miller's Ale House, or what is it called? World of Beer.
Yeah.
It could be the bar section inside of Applebee's.
Any of the nightclubs obviously fall under that. And then where it gets sticky is like the bar and grill type places.
Right.
So if it's more, their food is the primary purpose, then you just can't sit at the bar area.
Correct. Yep. Okay, so next is any college or university facility inside the passenger terminal or sterile area of an airport. And finally, any place where carrying a firearm is prohibited by federal law.
Yeah, like courthouses and stuff.
These are places like a federal courthouse, any type
like
of
social security place,
INS building,
veterans, anything.
Yeah, military base, stuff of that nature.
So I just want to make this point because there was somebody that was traveling to another state and they didn't realize, they thought it was the same. Look, every state has different laws. So in some states, those signs
are enforceable.
So any Tom, Dick, or Harry can put that sign on their business and it is enforceable. Like you can't just be like, whatever, you are here. But let me just say really quick, because before you go into your thing, there are so many people that still believe that you cannot carry in Walmart after they put the no guns allowed signs after that Texas shooting in the Walmart.
Oh my God.
And they're like, did you just break my chair?
I think I did just break this chair.
Oh, great. They were like, well, now I can't carry in Walmart. And I was like, why can't you carry in Walmart? Just because it has a sign, it doesn't mean you can't, because in the state of Florida, those signs are not enforceable.
Yeah.
Unless it's a federally prohibited place.
Unless it is one of the prohibited areas.
Yeah.
So again, let's take a look at, what's an example here? Let's take a look at carrying a firearm inside of a elementary school. If a elementary school has a sign that says no guns allowed, is it the sign that makes it illegal to possess a firearm there? Or is it the state law that makes it illegal?
Right.
It's the state law. The sign is just there as a courtesy to remind you, you know what, it just happened to me again.
To remind you that you shouldn't shop there.
Just happened to me again the other day when we went to ship all the shock and awe kits for the Sheepdog boot camp. Dude, so me and the boys, we're filming this video of us, delivering all this stuff. Everybody's excited. And we're, walking in, and I'm like, oh, shit. Hold on a second, boys. Let's go back to the truck real quick. Because I just got distracted in the moment.
Yeah.
Forgot that I had a handgun and almost totally screwed up.
Yeah.
All right, here is another, I'm just shocked with the amount of road rage incidents, shootings. You need to be very cautious.
There is so many. We picked a few, but
there's so many, and I hate every single week talking about road rage shootings.
Yeah, but
there's so many. I think it is getting worse.
People need Jesus.
Violent crime is up significantly across the nation and in state of Florida.
It's a whole culture thing of people are just angry. People have less empathy. People have no respect for human life. You know what? Christian or not, there's nothing wrong with teaching your family the 10 Commandments and having some kind of moral freaking compass.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, because that's what's happening is everybody is just losing. It's all about me. And there is no moral compass anymore. It's just crazy. It's really sad.
It is sad, scary.
Detectives here in Volusia say using license plate reading technology from here in the area, they were able to catch the suspect, 18-year-old Brian Holmes, within 20 to 30 minutes of the shooting. They say they were able to then arrest him at his house.
Step out of the car. Okay, you don't have a gun or anything on you, right, man?
But when deputies got Holmes out of his car in the driveway, their body camera shows what fell out of his waistline.
Pull the gun out as we're trying to get him to step out of the car.
2 hours earlier, deputies say a woman called 911 describing Holmes in his car as the person who shot at her on 415 while she was heading to work.
Someone just drive by me on a gray car with no lights and just shoot at me.
She told deputies the car came up behind her, driving erratically without headlights, hitting her car at one point and forcing another driver into the shoulder as he tried to wedge his car between them.
Plenty of cars going by, but that was them that were in front of me. Then they kind of like moved to the right lane, and when I passed, they started shooting.
Deputies say she reported he drove alongside her for several minutes before shooting. Pictures from the sheriff's office showed the 7 bullet holes they found on the side of her car.
You freaking stupid.
Deputies say Holmes told them the victim cut him off in traffic and he hit the vehicle's bumper. He told deputies he was trying to shoot the tires to stop the car.
Put him in a car.
Super crazy. Like, the dude fired 7 shots into this lady's car for 0 reason. Not that there's ever a justified reason to do this, but doesn't his picture, doesn't he look like a psychopath? Yeah. My gosh, crazy. All right, so let's pretend that you're the driver, Tiff.
Did it show when the cops came to get him that his gun fell on the ground?
I'm going to show the body cam footage in just a second.
Yeah, this is a little psycho mofo.
Yeah. So let's pretend you're the driver, you're the victim here, and let's ask ourselves the big questions and see if the use of deadly force is actually justified in here. So how could this situation have been avoided?
I mean, you can't avoid road rage because this is the thing. Like, even the other day, I was driving, right? I'm driving down Highway 60 and the lights are whatever, not working. So everybody knows.
Everybody does not know.
That when the street lights aren't working, you treat it as a 4-way stop sign. But this lady, like, almost hit me, and I honk at her, and then I pull up, and I do this, and she's like 65 years old or something. Rolls down her window. I said, ma'am, like, I'm trying to be nice, because I'm thinking you obviously don't know. So I said, ma'am, you're supposed to treat street lights that are out as a 4-way stop sign. And she's like, yeah. And then she like freaking stormed off. And I was like, what the hell? Like, but something as simple as that, like, I thought about it after. I was like, you should just keep your mouth shut, because that could have been some freaking psycho that felt like they could pull out their gun and start shooting you over that. Like, that's how bad it's become, that you can't do anything to anybody without him getting super offended of them going psycho on.
I had a guy storm out of the concealed carry class the other day because...
You didn't tell me about this.
I try not to tell you about everything.
Oh, gosh.
So, because the guy, like, he said, I'm getting a permit so that I can have a gun in my car. And I said, well, you can have a gun in your car without a permit, sir. And then he goes, he's like, yeah, but I don't want to have it in the back. And I said, what do you think the rules are to have a gun in your car? Like, what do you think? And he's like, oh, they have to be locked. They have to be in a case in the very back. And I said, that's not accurate. So I started going through it all. And then the guy, like, went up after we, like, did our stuff. I gave him the certificate. He went up to Lincoln and he's like, am I done? And Lincoln's like, yes. And the guy just stormed out. So Link's like, that guy left. I said, whatever. He must be offended that I explained to him, like, what you believe is not accurate.
It's people that have just a chip on their shoulder and are not willing to learn, which is not the people that are on here, which is not the people that were, like, in the boot camp, which is not Dan, which I just have to say, like, Dan has been training with you. He's been to advanced classes. He's been to other advanced classes. He's, like, gone through all the stuff. Like, the dude's rock star, but, he still does, like, all the beginner stuff.
Dan's committed. That's why. He's all in. All right, Michelle says, how did this kid buy a gun? He's only 18. He's not old enough to legally possess.
He didn't buy it.
No. That is not accurate, Michelle. You're allowed to legally possess a handgun, rifle, or a shotgun in the state of Florida at the age of 18. You're allowed to legally purchase a rifle, shotgun, or a handgun in Florida at the age of 18 from a private seller. You are not allowed to purchase a rifle, shotgun, or a handgun until you're 21.
And you can't have a carry permit.
Unless you're active duty or
But technically, he
disarmed.
could have bought like it on private sale. He could have bought it legally.
I'm sure that's how he got it.
From a
Okay.
private sale.
We figured out. Cannot be avoided. Next
No,
question
I think
2.
he's a criminal. He got it as a criminal. Look at the guy. He's a psycho.
Okay. Does this scenario fall under the justified use of force statute?
Yes, but if I was driving a car, I wouldn't be like shooting out to the roadway.
Okay, we already read, like, this is what the justified use of force
Right.
statute says. I'm not going to read it all. But these are the 5 questions you need to ask when you're going over and determining,
Yes.
is this under the justified use of force statute?
Somebody's
So
shooting at you.
do you have a reasonable belief?
100%.
So a reasonable belief means you have to truly believe your only option is to pull out a gun and shoot.
Okay.
But a jury has to agree with you.
Okay, well, maybe not your only option because you're on the road. You could like slam on your brakes and be like, I'm out of here. Like, let him pass by. So you could, because that's what I would do. I would be like, frick, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting away from you. Now, if he followed you or continued, then yes, you would have a reasonable belief because then you would be like, I tried to get away. I tried my only option, which is to get away, and I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to shoot you in this situation. I believe I have a reasonable belief.
I think you could fall under both.
Yeah. The fear in this situation is we are responsible for where our bullet stops.
Exactly.
So where is my bullet going to stop?
As you're driving
in a road rage
at
shooting?
100 miles an hour down a freeway. Like, that's not
Yeah.
an easy thing to do.
Yeah, and then this kid's like argument is, I'm trying to shoot out the tires to make her stop. Like, get out of here, man. Question number 2. Are you or someone around you going to die within seconds? Okay. Dang, that ex-wife of mine gave Tiff the finger. I'm sorry she did that to you. Okay. So,
She was nasty.
would you believe that you are going to die within seconds if somebody's shooting into your car?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would. I mean,
100%.
100%. They're shooting at me. I already shot 7 rounds. I'm surprised the person didn't get hit.
I know.
It's a total miracle.
Are you or somebody around you going to be the victims of great bodily harm?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I think that's very reasonable. Yeah. Are you or someone around you going to be the victims of a forcible felony?
Yeah, you already are.
Yeah. Aggravated battery?
Yeah.
Definitely. Attempted murder?
So I think, like, with this situation, like, it can go both ways. Like I said, I don't think if you did...
Kind of like Kanye West?
I don't think if you did use your firearm in self-defense that they would, hold it against you under these circumstances. However, it's still always is best if you can just avoid the situation by getting off the freeway or something like that. But they definitely did the right thing by at least being a good witness and getting the guy's like vehicle identification and stuff like that, right? Get him off the road. Hopefully this guy goes to prison and
Yep.
craziness.
Is the use of deadly force immediately necessary?
Again, this is like subjective. It depends.
It's a yes or a no.
No, it's not a yes or a no. It's a gray area for me because I feel like I could get off, but I also feel like if you felt like that was something, I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Tammy says, in Florida, if somebody draws a gun at you and you have a right to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. If these 5 requirements are met, Tammy.
Right.
So that's what you have to understand.
Yeah. You got to meet these 5 requirements.
Right. So now, generally, if somebody is pointing a gun at you, let's just explain this, right? So if you break into my house, Tammy, and I'm pointing a gun at you, so you would not have a right to use a gun against me because you are committing a crime, which is the final question. Oh, that I forgot to put up here.
Yeah, you forgot to put there.
Are you in a place you have a right to be? The answer is no.
Right.
So therefore, Tammy, you would not have a legal right to use a gun against me.
It depends. Or if you're in a place where you don't have a legal right to be, then you wouldn't have that. So there are a few stipulations, but
but I get what you're saying.
Yes.
Generally, if a bad guy is pointing a gun at a good person, you have a right to defend yourself. But let me throw this curveball in there. One of the rules that we teach inside of my Sheepdog Masterclass, which is my advanced level shooting. Okay, here's an awesome fun one, right? In your property, you have that right. Actually, you don't.
Depends.
You do not have a right. Hold on, Tiffany. Just because somebody's on your property, you do not have a right to show them a gun, to use a gun, just because somebody's on your property. One of our students got arrested. He got off probation just recently. but he has like a lot of land, and I guess there's like vacant land or government land or whatever right across the street from him. Okay, and here's another point, Tammy. The police are wrong.
Yeah, the
police are wrong.
The police don't always know. And
I
here's
have
the thing.
cops. The number one person that I have to educate in my class is cops, because cops have to take my class, right? And I show the cops these statutes, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they're talking about. But hold on. This guy who is, he's on his property, right? These people were like parking on his land, and then they were walking across the street to go on like this government property, okay? So he walked up to him, and he was like, hey, listen, don't park on my property. And then the guys were like, yeah, whatever, bro. And they just walked away, went into the woods. So he got on the phone and he called a tow truck and said, hey, bring a tow truck here, tow this vehicle. So these guys heard, wherever they were in the woods, they heard him make this phone call. They walked back. So this guy is like over on his property, okay? He's right by his front door. These guys walked up his driveway. He pulled out the gun from his waistband, and he had the gun in his hand, pointed at the ground. And these men walked up. They had some words or whatever. These men, Tammy, dialed 911 and called the police. Who do you think got arrested that day? It wasn't the men who were on his property. It was the guy who owned the property, because he violated a law called improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon or firearm, which has a maximum prison sentence of 1 year in prison, and you are using a firearm in an unjustified situation. So then she says, Manatee County Police said, if you are in your house and someone attempts to break in, or in your car, you have a right. That is a half-truth, Tammy, half-truth. I'm going to highly recommend you buy my book, Florida Concealed Carry Law.
It's free plus
because
shipping. So $10.
This is going to really help you avoid going to prison.
Yeah.
And this is an issue that I have with a lot of gun people.
Yeah.
Is that they understand a half-truth. They understand a very small portion.
Or
they don't actually know the big picture.
They have heard from a police officer.
Which they assume is credible.
Right.
And the police are not credible.
They are not. And listen, not their fault. They can't know all the laws about everything. I mean, it would be literally impossible.
Yeah, like here's the thing. I have studied 2 chapters in Florida law for 12 years, okay? Hired attorneys, been to conventions. Like, we've done a ton of stuff, right? I've written a bunch of books about it. I've been interviewed by congresspeople and all this different stuff about this. Judges, prosecutors, legislators have all taken my class.
Yeah.
News stations, like all that stuff, right? Most people don't know this topic like I do. Most, okay? So anyway... that came from the police, and the police don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. So here's the thing. If somebody is breaking into your house, they have to meet these 3 requirements before you have a right to use a gun. They have to be entering unlawfully. They have to be entering by force. And the use of deadly force has to be a reasonable response. And they have to be entering a dwelling, residential, occupied vehicle. So again, I'm not going to explain it here because we're going to get distracted on this one story.
No,
but that is super important for you to learn.
You need to just talk about, though, if your car is parked in your driveway and somebody's breaking into it, this is what you do. You keep your doors locked. You can press your little horn on your car if you want, but you get on with 911 and you be a good witness. Because if you use your firearm because somebody is breaking into your vehicle and you are not inside of your vehicle,
you do not have a right to use a gun.
You do not have a right to use a gun to protect your property
from
robbery or something like that. We had somebody who was going to shoot somebody who was stealing a lawnmower out of their lawn shed, right? Lawn shed in the back, the garden shed, they were stealing the lawnmower. You are not allowed to shoot for a lawnmower, nor should you want to shoot someone for stealing a, $300, $200
But let's forget that. We had a student on Saturday tell me the reason he's getting his permit is because he was falling asleep. He was in his house at night, and he heard something happening outside. So he looks on his camera, and there's a guy with a baseball bat smashing his window, and then he had a bunch of DJing equipment in there.
Yeah.
So the bad guy obviously knew it was there. So this was a very high ticket stuff, right? Like this is potentially thousands of dollars. And I said, what would you do, bro? Like if you had a gun and you can go back in time, you see this guy stealing all your stuff, what would you do?
Yeah.
And he's like, I would run out there and hold him at gunpoint. I'd hold him on the ground with the gun. And I said, you would go to jail. That is the definition of improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon or firearm. You are not allowed to use a gun or threaten the use of a firearm to defend personal property unless the defense of the personal property is in the commission of a forcible felony, which is treason, murder, manslaughter, sexual battery, carjacking, home invasion, robbery, burglary, arson, kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, aggravated stalking, unlawful throwing of a destructive device or bomb, or any other felony that involves the use or physical force of violence against any individual. Okay. So you do not have a right to use a gun to defend personal property. Okay, so the big questions. Yeah. Where is the line in the sand? This kid has got the gun in road rage.
He's shooting at you. That's the line in the sand. Once you pull trigger, some people will wave their gun at you. You've had it a few times. Somebody waved their gun at you. You know, whatever, slam on the brakes and move along. But once they start actually firing rounds at you, that's the line in the sand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Tammy, let me just throw something else out here. I want to make sure I'm not attacking you. I want to make sure that you understand. We want to make sure that you are safe and that you understand the rules. Because here's an issue that I have when police say dumb stuff.
Yeah, they don't.
When police say things like, if you shoot somebody, make sure you drag the body in the house. That's a very dumb thing for a cop to say, because people assume, they look at a cop and they're like, oh, you're credible. A cop told me to do it. If you haven't heard my story yet, Tammy, of me getting arrested in the forest with helicopters, 6 police dogs.
With a 3rd-degree felony.
Yeah, 3rd-degree felony.
Because a cop
told me I was allowed to shoot guns there.
Guess what? That
cop didn't come save me when I was in jail.
Pay the $10,000 that we paid to get Ryan not just bailed at but also the attorney fees. So we never got paid back from that. The cop didn't come help us with the paperwork or try to get the charges dropped. The cop didn't do anything, right? Because
So Roberto says, what if somebody is pointing a firearm at you like in road rage? I started to say this and I got distracted. One of the concepts we teach inside of the Sheepdog Masterclass, which is my highest level, invitation only. We do not allow people to even just sign up for this. I have to invite you to sign up. Is a concept of never draw on a drawn gun.
Yeah.
If somebody is already pointing a gun at you, you already lost. Okay? Trying to get your gun out while they're pointing a gun at you is the bad guy only has to pull the trigger. You got to do 6 things to get your gun out and hopefully shoot them. So there's concepts that we teach in that class on how to deal with that and mitigate it, but we can't talk about it here.
Yeah.
All right. We kind of talked about that.
And that's about.
So here is the full body cam so you can actually see what the police saw.
Hey man, step out of the car for us, bud. Stop. 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 Step out of the car for us. Stop. Both of you. Stop. Step out of the car for him, man. All right? No guns on you, nothing like that, man? All right, step out for him, bud. We'll explain what's going on here in a minute, sir, okay? Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Okay, you don't have a gun or anything on you, right, man? All right, step away from the car. Step away from the car. Step away. Stop. Stop. Stay there.
Did you guys see the gun on the ground?
Yeah. He was actually trying to pull it out.
I don't know what he was doing.
49 Central.
Come here. Do you have anything else on you?
90 Central, you re-intact? Or 49 to 90? Stay there. We got him and the 0. Stay over there for me. Step over there. Put him up against the front of the car.
Slow punk ass kid.
You freaking stupid? Huh? You freaking idiot?
So you get killed. You just got tight press for just a minute here.
Pulled the gun out as we're trying to get him to step out of the car. Yes. No, we were trying to get him to step away from the car.
Just putting a glove on to pick it up. The other guy just picked it up.
Hey, put him in a car.
Locally hated.
Can you get him ran in the car?
Yeah, so if you guys haven't picked up a copy of my international best-selling book, Florida Concealed Carry Shoot or Don't Shoot, all you got to do is go to floridashootorDon'tshoot.com and claim yours right now.
So I have to just say this because every time, I follow a lot of police pages and stuff like that. And there's so many officers that die in the line of duty, like on
It's a lot. It's more than I have thought.
On a daily basis, people are, these officers are dying or they're in the hospital, brain injuries, all these kind of things from being shot in the line of duty or domestic dispute, whatever it is. And I follow those pages because it's a good wake-up reminder to me that we don't...
They deal with bad people every day.
They deal with a lot of bad people every day. So if you... And just seeing this guy, like they pulling up, this 18-year-old kid, but he's got a freaking gun. Like he can very easily just start popping those guys off. So, we get called bootlickers and stuff like that a lot of the times.
Guess what?
Thing.
Nobody cares.
I don't care. We support law enforcement.
Yeah.
Are there a few bad apples? Yes, there is. Just like there's bad apples, there's bad teachers, there's bad doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad in everything. There's bad firearms instructors, right? But here's the thing. You have to remember that if a cop, when they pull you over, if they're on edge, if they're, if they want to know where your gun is and they're like, oh, they want to put it on the back, trunk of the car, and you're like, it's my right, and you want to argue with them. Here's the thing. Like, just chill out. Like, they deal with very bad people every day, and they don't know you. They don't know why, all this stuff. Just because you legally have a carry permit, it doesn't mean that you're a good guy. So they're just doing their job, and we got to just kind of respect that and realize that they deal with a lot of psychos that we have no idea because we don't have run-ins with these individuals on a daily basis.
Flipping basis. Yeah. All right, so Jose says, what do you think about carrying the Ruger LCP-2 as a main concealed carry gun? I think it's awesome. I carried the Ruger LCP-1 for years when I work with Steve Easters, who's on here.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a great gun. I think it's very easy to hide, and the holster I used was a Nemesis pocket holster. Absolutely love it. Biggest issue was getting lint in it. You had to make sure you kept it clean all the time, but I think it's a great gun. Absolutely amazing.
So here's my thing. Like some people will be like, oh, it only has, 6+1. You only got 7 rounds or whatever, or it's only a 380 or whatever they have to say about it. But what I have to say is whatever gun you decide to carry, be trained with it, right? Practice with it. Practice drawing if that's going to be from the holster or from the pocket or wherever it is. And as long as you are comfortable with that firearm, no matter what the caliber is, it is better to have something on you because most people, let's face it, most people that carry a gun like this, it's because they wear like basketball shorts and stuff, or they're
a business professional.
Or they're a business professional and they wear like slacks and they just need something that just kind of goes in their front pocket that looks like a wallet.
Women exercising, love this gun.
Yes, 100%. Exercising, you got something super light, super small. It is better to have something on you, even if it is a smaller caliber or whatever it is, than to have nothing at all. Not everybody can be like Ryan and carry a Glock 19 with an extra mag every single day. You got like how many rounds? Like
30.
He's got 30.
33 rounds.
But
just in case ISIS invades
33
Rico.
rounds. And the reality is, if you're around when somebody like that car wash shooter, that had 70 rounds shooting.
Yeah.
If someone like you is around, great. But if there's just someone like me who's got a smaller firearm with less firepower, the chances are that you're going to be in a situation like that where you're going to need 33 rounds is a lot less than just needing something
the truth
to pull
is,
and shoot.
The truth is, statistically speaking,
yeah.
You having to perform an emergency reload during a self-defense situation as a civilian is like less than 1%.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Cops have to do it. Military has to do it. FBI maybe, law enforcement. But a civilian, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I do it because it's cool and I wear jeans and a t-shirt. Like
and you can handle it.
99.9% of my life.
Comfortably, you can handle it. Yeah. You know how to do it.
Okay, so Dan says, how about the LCP-2 Max? I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great gun. So Dave says, what about Shield Plus?
Yeah.
Amazing gun. You just can't go wrong. There's so many amazing guns on the market today. Yeah. One of our students just bought, I was jealous. So jealous, man.
What did they get?
He bought the brand new Sig Sauer P365 X Macro.
I don't even know what that
Tiffany,
is.
it is literally smaller than my Glock 19, and it holds 17 rounds instead of 15.
So it's bigger than the 365, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bigger than the XL that we have. Yeah. So, anyway.
Not for me, then. For you, yes. Not
all right.
For me.
So, let's see here. Did that. All right.
Whoa.
Dan. Dan is on here right now. Dan sent me this text message or a Facebook Messenger the other day, and he said, Ryan, sometimes you don't even know that you're standing right next to the wolf. So Dan is the guy on the left-hand side.
The tall guy.
So he like races race cars. Like he builds these RC race cars, which is super neat. I want to go with you one time, Dan, with the kids.
It's just down the road.
Is it?
Yeah.
I always thought he was going to Orlando.
No, he goes to it's a place called Heroes Paradise, which is like owned by veterans, and they have like
super cool. I want to go.
It's right off of like Lithia or something.
So this dude in the green shirt is somebody that apparently Dan has seen like lots of times at these events. Well, just a couple weeks ago, Danielle Medina Alvarez was arrested for 20 counts of child molestation. Allegedly, he owns, we know he owns a children's martial arts studio in Riverview. Maybe he works there, I don't know. But he's allegedly being accused of molesting 20 children at this martial arts studio and at his home. Yeah. Which is so important, right? We tell our kids, like I'm sure you guys do this, but we tell our children, like, do we trust? We trust a lot of people, right? Like we trust some of our neighbors, but we don't trust our neighbors like we trust Auntie Lori.
Oh, he does own it, Dan. So.
He does own it. Okay. So Auntie Lori, if Auntie Lori says, get in my car, get in her car. Whatever Auntie Lori tells you to do, do what she tells you to do. Yeah. But if a neighbor here who you see mom and dad talk to, you see we go to their house for parties. If they say get in the car, you say no, I'm walking home, right? Like we have our tight inner circle, and then we have like our bigger
acquaintances,
circle. That, dad trusts them, but you're not getting in the car with them, right? And there's a few of you on here right now that I think are in the inner circle. People that if I had to say, hey, listen, Mr. Dan has to come pick you guys up from school because something bad happened. Mr. Dan, Mr. Joe, like those are dudes that I trust that I would say, I trust you.
Right.
But then there's other people we don't.
Yeah.
Just because he's your martial arts teacher does not mean you can trust him. And it's also like important to know, just because an adult says that we don't want to have the conversation about molestation with our kids because it's a weird conversation. It's gross. It's not something we want to talk about.
Yes, you have
but
to
it is something we have to talk
question
about.
Family members, 100%.
Yeah, and MC says you have to trust question family members. Yeah. I do not speak to my mother or father, and I would never allow my children to be around them because I do not trust them. That's just it. But Tiff's dad, Art, I love Art. I trust Art 110%. Tiff's brother, Ryan, I trust him 1,000%, right? So like, and Lori, 1,000%. I trust Art 1,000% too. I shouldn't have changed the percentages.
So, remember that thing that I had sent? It said like, tell your kids that good adults don't make you keep secrets.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really good. And I'm not talking like a Christmas present secret or something like that. But, if they're asking you to keep a secret of something else, it's not a good...
Yeah, not a good thing.
Yeah, let your kids know it's not a good
super
thing.
Scary story, Dan. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, super crazy. I'm curious to see what comes out about this because he's owned this place for quite a while, I think. So I think 20 is like the initial, but I think once they keep digging...
Well, they also said they're still investigating, so I'm sure more kids will come forward.
I think there's going to be more. And, you look at the guy. He looks innocent enough, and that's the thing. That's the other thing that we have to teach our kids, and we have to know it ourselves, right? Because we all think that the bad guy, looks like a boogeyman, that the bad guy, we're going to be able to tell right away by looking at them. But the bad guys look like everyday people. I just watched the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, right?
Yeah.
He looked like a regular guy. So we have to be careful.
Okay, last question. Bill, can you please go over what type of ammunition is not allowed at a gun range? Great question, Bill.
Another good one.
So you are never allowed to use steel core or armor-piercing ammo at a indoor gun range. Because like the gun range that I use, Universal, their baffles in the back are all made out of steel. So I was there shooting one time. I had like 4 students and then another guy walked in. And as I'm looking, I see sparks like flying around back there. So I called the range cold. And actually, there's another sub-story I'll tell you. I called the range cold. I walked up to this guy and I was like, hey, man, are you shooting steel core ammo? And he's like, yeah, I am. So what was interesting about that is Universal checks everybody's bags. they put a magnet over everybody's bullets, and they did not have steel ammo.
So
this guy must have hid it in his pocket, hid it in his waistband.
Why?
Because it's cheaper, and the guy's
trying to get rid of it. Okay.
Yeah, just being a scumbag. But I was like, dude, you're putting everybody else's lives in danger because this bullet is ricocheting around.
Because it's what, like pennies cheaper?
There's a gun range here in Tampa. I won't say the name, but they discovered people were shooting at the range, and the bullets were ricocheting and hitting behind their heads.
Oh, hell no.
So they shut the range down real quick. They had a malfunction with their backstop, and they had to fix it. But I think there was also some armor-piercing ammo in the mix there.
Wow.
Next, you're not allowed to shoot any type of birdshot, buckshot inside of an indoor gun range and many outdoor gun ranges, just because it really damages everything inside of the building.
Yeah, because it's spraying, right?
Yeah.
Is that why? Okay.
Not allowed to shoot reloads, which that's ammunition that has been remanufactured. What's dangerous right now because of the big ammo shortage. There are a lot of new companies selling reloads that are not telling you it's reloads.
Yeah, they say
they hide it on the box.
They hide it, remanufactured.
Yeah. The one that I didn't put on here that's super important is incendiary rounds. So these are like tracers or something like that. If you guys remember, the Shoot Straight in Tampa burned down during COVID in like June of 2020, maybe May of 2020. And the story that I heard, this may not be true, but the story that I heard is they have a rubber backstop. So it's just rubber like the sole of your shoe. Somebody was shooting a tracer round. It went in there and now it's smoldering. Caught all the rubber on fire, which then catches the whole building on fire.
That was a lot of damage. I wonder if they found that person and
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So anyway, hopefully that answers your question.
There's generally rules to why they don't have this, because actually, just how you said this other guy snuck it in, when I was searching for videos for something else, there was a video of a guy who he did the exact same thing. They checked all of his stuff, and they were watching on the camera, and they saw something funny happen, and they came in, and he had rounds hidden in his bag.
No, you want to hear a story of people hiding stuff? At Universal Jewelry. So a man walked in, he filled out the survey and like the waiver and stuff. Everything was fine. He was normal. And he paid his fee. He goes into the range. So they're like watching this dude on the camera, right? And they noticed he started like swaying. And they were like, oh my God, like maybe this guy is diabetic. Maybe his blood sugar's low. Like maybe he's sick and he's going to fall over. So they went in there. The guy was hammered drunk. So this guy snuck a bottle of liquor, must have been in his pocket or on his body somewhere, and pounded it, and then started shooting guns.
What was his point? Was he like thinking, oh, I'm drunk at home all the time and I need to see if I can operate?
Who freaking knows? But this dumbass thought that was an acceptable thing to do.
You know what? I guess that...
So thankfully, my friends at Universal, they caught it very quickly. They banned the guy. He's never allowed to come back, and they told him to leave. But these are the kind of people. And there was another story. A woman came in who, as soon as she walked in, she wanted to come to the range. They could tell she was on drugs. And they told her, ma'am, we can tell you're on drugs. You are not allowed to shoot a gun. And you have to leave. And the lady's like, you're a racist, you're that, and just started going ballistic. And then the lady left, right? So they put her name in the computer. They got a picture of her ID. And they're like, you are never allowed to come back here, which is what you should do. Then the lady called back 2 or 3 hours later. And she goes, hey, I might have been under the influence of something. And they're like, might? This isn't a might. You were heavily sedated, right? So anyway, it's super crazy.
Okay, so Arthur, yes, your shirt was a special order, but it shipped out today. And then somebody said they found people trying to shoot Dragon's Breath in the Shoot Straight in Clearwater.
Oh my God, that would burn the whole freaking building down.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy that people do that, thinking what did they not
Number
realize?
one, it's illegal to load Dragon's Breath inside of a firearm in the state of Florida.
It's in your book.
It's in my book. What? Yep. All right, so we're going to give something away, right? What are we giving away?
No, not tonight. Okay, this is what you have to do, though. You have to go enter to win.
Win.tampacarry.com.
And when you do this, you're also going to be entered to so if we get banned off YouTube, we can contact you and let you know whatever the next platform or whatever happens is. So once you enter once, we're going to do this giveaway slide every single week. But if you if you do it once, you don't have to do it again, right?
But you're still on the list.
You're going to be on the list.
So we have to be able to pull up your name every time.
Every time.
To pull you up.
Because you're not going to send us an email anymore. What's going to happen is you're going to enter once at just win.tampacarry.com. And then if you win, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to pull up your name, and I'm going to contact you through there. So
They got to be live, though, when we do. We'll figure out the rules. But go enter, and we'll figure out the details.
Yeah, but either way, we're going to start doing where you got to be on the list. That way we also have a chance to contact you if something goes awry or if we get, another strike on YouTube or whatever it is, because it sucks.
Which I get strikes a lot.
But it sucks that we have 5,000 people on YouTube, and then we got, 40 that know that we're here tonight because we have no way to notify you.
Yeah, whatever.
So, but once you enter, then next week we'll start giving away. We're going to give away some T-shirts and knives and stuff like that. Each live. So, but we have to have your information.
Okay, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate. Oh, go. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think that's it for tonight, guys. But you did a lot of talking. Is your throat sore?
Nope, because I am a professional.
You need me to massage your throat.
I do need you to massage, but not that side.
Shut up! Oh my gosh.
Oh no, wait.
I should have seen it.
That was never mind. Scratch that. We didn't delete that. Other way around.
Okay. I don't know what's happening, but we're just going to be out for the evening. So everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next Monday night live, hopefully on YouTube.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.